I have seen fights happen.
Evie Tebow sharing the realities faced by teens every day in the Valley.
They really do come from not being around the right group of people.
The Maricopa County Attorney's Office hoping Evie, along with the other Teen Advisory Council members, will be part of the solution moving forward.
It's just giving teens a seat at the table and a spot where they can more easily express what they're going through.
We listened, to what you guys had to say, and we also had a number of subject matter experts.
Mitchell says the program is a part of that after a recent spike in teen violence. Last year, her office says they charged more than 150 teens as adults, mostly for violent crimes involving guns. Many of the sentences are longer than these young people have been alive. Mitchell also helped pass Preston's Law, which created a new category of assault called swarming. It is now a Class 4 felony when 3 or more people attack one person. Since that law took effect, MCAO tells us they've charged 63 people. More than half of them are teens.
This is not okay. It's not something to get clicks on. It's something to report to the police. It's very dangerous.
Now that council developed a video and informational packet for other teens regarding the two issues they focused on, reckless driving and substance abuse, the county attorney's office now accepting applications for the next class. And if you're interested, we'll include a link with more information on our website. Jared?